Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're breaking down a seriously fascinating piece of source material. It's called The Superstar Morning Routine, a preschool adventure guide. Now look, if you've ever found yourself wondering how on earth to consistently get a highly distractible kid to move through a morning without a total meltdown, you are going to absolutely love this. We're going to unpack the actual mechanics behind this joyful preschool adventure guide and see exactly why it works so incredibly well.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to be looking at the preschool adventure framework, then the morning wake up and stretch, gamifying daily hygiene, building essential life skills, and finally, the cleanup superpower. Let's get right to it.
First up, Section 1, the Preschool Adventure Framework, establishing the baseline.
You know, the source material doesn't just randomly jump straight into chores. It is highly deliberate in how it sets the stage. Notice how these specific baseline parameters are basically engineered to perfectly capture the attention of toddlers and kindergartners. The target audience is clearly defined as kids ages 3 to 6, right? And to reach them, the tone is strictly high energy, joyful, interactive, and playful. Visually, it relies heavily on a vibrant cartoon and anime animation style, lots of bright colors and friendly animal characters. These aren't just arbitrary aesthetic choices, guys. They are calculated psychological hooks, completely designed to keep a young demographic entirely engaged from the very first second.
Moving right into the routine itself, we hit Section 2, morning wake up and stretch, waking up sleepy muscles.
Let's set the scene a little bit. We open in this really bright, cozy, cartoon bedroom, and there's a cheerful little mouse character snoring softly. Then the voiceover asks, "Can you stretch your arms all the way up to the sky? Reach, reach, reach." Accompanied by upbeat preschool music, this brilliantly illustrates the guide's whole approach to morning grogginess. It doesn't demand they jump out of bed in a panic. Instead, it starts by simply waking up those sleepy muscles. You know, touching toes, wiggling fingers, wiggling noses. It builds that momentum, step by gentle step.
Next, we head to the bathroom with Section 3, gamifying daily hygiene, chasing away the sugar bugs.
The scene instantly transitions to a colorful, sparkling bathroom where the child is greeted by a pretty hilarious, totally unexpected visual. It's a friendly cartoon cow wearing a tiny toothbrush hat. The crucial point here is exactly how the guide introduces conflict to motivate the child. Consider how they define sugar bugs. They're playful, imaginary antagonists in the hygiene adventure that kids have to defeat by brushing their teeth. This is a remarkably clever psychological trick. By turning invisible plaque into these pesky sugar bugs, it transforms a mundane and, let's face it, often resisted chore into an epic battle that the child actually gets to win. They aren't just brushing, they're grabbing their super-duper magic toothbrush to literally chase away the bad guys.
And building on that excitement, the guide breaks down complex motor skills into really simple, repeatable steps. Up and down, side to side, round, and finally, my personal favorite, don't forget your tongue, blah. The source notes that these actions are paired with exciting whooshing and swishing sound effects, which culminates in this happy little ding when the cow flashes a sparkling white smile. It is multi-sensory instruction at its absolute finest.
Moving right along, we have Section 4, building essential life skills, dress for success.
Here, we enter a bright closet scene where the guide really shifts its focus to fostering independence. Before any clothes are even chosen, it asks the viewer, is it rainy? Is it sunny? What's super interesting to note here is the pacing. The source material explicitly includes an interactive pause right here, filled with upbeat thinking music. It actively prompts the child to point to the window and observe their environment before getting dressed. It is a wonderful, highly structured tool for teaching kids to connect their internal actions, like choosing a wardrobe, to external environmental conditions. Once the sunny weather is established, it's time to actually put on those comfy clothes. The dialogue uses some fantastic audio cues here, saying click, clack, button, zip. This clever use of onomatopoeia turns the frustrating task of managing buttons and zippers into a totally playful sound game. It encourages kids to master their fine motor skills, while an enthusiastic voiceover celebrates them doing things all by themselves. The positive reinforcement here is constant, which keeps the child incredibly motivated to be independent.
Time to pick up the pace. Section 5, the Cleanup Superpower, Organization Challenge.
We've officially entered the fast-paced, game show portion of the routine, where kids face the ultimate morning hurdle, a completely messy playroom. Notice the stark contrast we're dealing with. A messy playroom with colorful blocks and toys resting scattered all over the floor versus the organized space where red blocks are placed perfectly in the red box and the teddy bear is back on the shelf. The guide uses this clean-up superpower challenge, which is accompanied by fast-paced, exciting game show music, to bridge the gap between these two states. By shouting, "On your mark, get set, go," it successfully gamifies organization. It takes tidying up from what usually feels like a punishment and turns it into a high-speed, thrilling race.
With the playroom officially clean, the routine seamlessly moves to the kitchen sink, which, by the way, features bubbly soap foam shaped like animal ears, just adding yet another really great visual hook. The narrator asks, "Before we eat our yummy snacks, what is the golden rule?" And a chorus of kids cheers in unison, "Wash our hands." This beautifully establishes a vital final boundary and transition cue before it is actually time to eat.
And this brings us to the actual washing mechanism itself. The lyrics go a little something like this. Top and bottom, in between, scrub them all together, now they're clean. So the truly crucial point here is that this highly memorable soap song isn't just a cute melody, it is an ingenious functional tool. It guarantees that the kids wash their hands for the scientifically recommended duration of 20 seconds without them ever feeling like they're just standing there staring at a clock.
At the end of it all, the child is greeted with this validating, deeply empowering message. You conquered your daily routine like an absolute superstar today. Let's just summarize what we've unpacked here. The guide's relentless use of interactive prompts, vivid audiovisual cues, and constant positive reinforcement creates a seriously effective framework for learning. From waking up sleepy muscles with a stretch song, to defeating sugar bugs, to using cleanup superpowers, it takes necessary tasks and structures them into a highly rewarding narrative.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to wrap up our explainer today. How can you apply this level of gamification and interactive structure to the most challenging parts of your own daily routines? We might not need a cartoon cow to help us brush our teeth anymore, but we definitely all have tasks we absolutely dread. Could reframing your mundane to-do list into a timed challenge, or maybe adding a high-energy soundtrack to your morning prep, yield those same superstar results? I highly encourage you to take these brilliant preschool mechanics and experiment with them in your adult life. You might just surprise yourself with how effective they really are.